told you it was love. They convinced you it was normal. They made you believe the problem was you. But somewhere beneath the confusion, the self-doubt, the endless explanations that never quite made sense, you knew something was wrong. This is where we stop pretending. This is where we examine what they never wanted you to see. The patterns that controlled you, the systems that protected them.
Our yoga instructor challenged us to find inner peace. I found it faster than anyone. After 4 seconds, I stood up and screamed, "I found Nirvana! I win!" They asked me to leave. I guess they don't respect winning. Bet365 does, though. New customers get $365 in bonus bets just for betting $10. Namaste, losers. Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Virginia. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
There's a particular exhaustion that comes from being told you're equal while doing twice the work to prove it. You know the feeling, the one where you're expected to show up professionally, perfectly composed, while also being warm, nurturing, and never too much of anything. Welcome back to the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Podcast. I'm Lynn, your host. Today we're talking about what happens when cultural systems tell you you've got equal rights while simultaneously penalizing you for existing as a woman in spaces designed for men. Here's what's real. Patriarchal systems didn't disappear when women got the right to vote or enter the workforce. They adapted, they got quieter, more insidious. Now, instead of being told you can't have a seat at the table, you're told you can, as long as you act like you don't need accommodations, never mention sexism, and somehow manage to be assertive without being aggressive, confident without being arrogant, and ambitious without being threatening. The goalpost moves constantly because the system was never designed for you to win. It was designed to make you believe equality exists while maintaining the same power structures that benefited men for centuries. Women are still doing the majority of unpaid domestic labor while working full-time jobs. You're still getting interrupted in meetings more than your male colleagues. You're still being asked about work-life balance in interviews while men are asked about career goals. Your pain is still undertreated in medical settings because research was done primarily on male bodies. You're still being told to smile more, speak up, but not too much. Be confident, but not intimidating. And when you point any of this out, you're labeled difficult, angry, or too sensitive. That's not progress. That's gaslighting with better PR. The cultural conditioning runs deep. From childhood, you were taught to make yourself smaller, quieter, more palatable, to prioritize others' comfort over your own needs, to apologize for taking up space. Meanwhile, boys were encouraged to be bold, take risks, speak their minds. Those lessons don't vanish when everyone enters adulthood claiming equality exists. So you end up in workplaces where you're paid less for the same work, but told the wage gap is your fault for not negotiating hard enough. Never mind that women who negotiate are perceived as demanding, while men are seen as confident. You're in relationships where you're doing the mental load of managing the household while your partner genuinely believes chores are split equally because he takes out the trash twice a week. You're navigating healthcare systems where your symptoms are dismissed as anxiety or hormones, while actual conditions go undiagnosed for years. And through all of it, you're told you're equal now. That feminism did its job. That if you're still struggling, it must be a you problem. This is how patriarchal systems maintain themselves in modern times, by convincing you that equality on paper means equality in practice, by making the barriers invisible enough that when you hit them, you question whether they're even there, by telling you that since overt discrimination is illegal, Any inequality you experience must be your own doing. You start to internalize it. Maybe you're not working hard enough. Maybe you're being too sensitive about that comment. Maybe you should be grateful for what you have instead of complaining. Maybe you're the problem. But here's what's actually happening. You're operating in systems built around male experience as default, male needs as standard, male behavior as professional. Every accommodation you need is framed as special treatment. Every time you advocate for yourself, it's seen as aggressive. Every boundary you set is called difficult. The conditioning taught you to question yourself before questioning the system, to assume you're doing something wrong when things feel off, to work twice as hard to prove you deserve the same respect men get automatically, to manage everyone else's emotions while suppressing your own, to be grateful for scraps while calling it equality. And when you're in intimate relationships with men who grew up in the same system, this plays out in ways that feel personal but are deeply cultural. He genuinely might not see the labor you're doing because he was raised in a world where women's work is invisible. He might truly believe you're equal while expecting you to manage his emotional life, social calendar, and household functioning. He might think he's progressive while becoming defensive anytime you name inequality. This isn't about whether individual men are good or bad people. It's about what everyone was taught. It's about systems that tell women they have equal rights while punishing them for acting like it. It's about cultural messages so deeply embedded that people don't even recognize them as cultural messages. They just think that's how things are. You've been trying to fix yourself in a system designed to make you feel broken. You've been working harder to compensate for structural inequality. You've been apologizing for having needs in a culture that taught you women's needs are inconvenient. You've been questioning your own perception while navigating very real double standards. The patriarchy didn't end. It rebranded. It learned to say the right words while maintaining the same power dynamics. It traded overt oppression for covert conditioning. And it made you responsible for pointing out inequality while simultaneously punishing you for doing so. So when you feel that exhaustion, the bone-deep tired that comes from constantly translating yourself, managing perceptions, proving your worth, swallowing your anger, and wondering if you're overreacting, that's not weakness. That's the accumulated weight of operating in systems not built for you while being told they are. You're not imagining it. You're not too sensitive. You're not asking for too much. You're recognizing the gap between what you were promised and what actually exists. That recognition is the first step towards seeing these patterns clearly instead of blaming yourself for experiencing them. Here's something to sit with. Where in your life are you working twice as hard while being told you have it easy? Where are you questioning yourself instead of questioning the system? What would change if you stopped trying to prove you deserve equal treatment and started expecting it as baseline? This is Lynn, and this has been another episode of the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Podcast. I'll see you in the next one. Visit our website at movingforwardafterabuse.com for articles, resources, and more support on your recovery journey.
Ever walk past a place for rent and wish you could just take a peek inside? Maybe even explore the layout. Envision the natural light streaming through the windows. Or plan where your vinyl record collection would go. At Apartments.com, you can. With tools like their 3D virtual tours, you can see the exact unit you could be living in. Really envision yourself in your new home with Apartments.com, the place to find a place.
Right now, new FanDuel customers can get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. Place a tournament bet using the token, and if it doesn't win, you'll get up to $300 back in bonus bets every single day for 10 days straight. You can even mix things up with same-game parlays for a shot at a bigger payout. FanDuel, it's time to dance. 21 plus in present and select states. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after receipt. Tokens are received in increments of 1 per day. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This work is hard, really hard. Questioning everything you were taught, seeing systems that were invisible, sitting with truth that change how you see the world. It's exhausting and overwhelming sometimes. There's no timeline for this, no right way to process it. We've gone daily now because these conversations matter. Subscribe so new episodes land automatically when they drop.